going? It's Jamie.
And this is Dan, we're from the band Polaris.
And you're watching Spotlight Report.
Hello Jamie, hello Dan. Thank you both for joining us on the final leg of Knotfest Australia 2025. How does it feel, particularly knowing that you're going to be taking things out in front of your hometown crowd?
It feels pretty special, to be honest, like to be finishing here in our hometown, and this is like our first time that we've played it properly in Sydney, which we've kind of been reminiscing on lately, like since our Fatalism album tour in 2023. So it's it kind of hurts that it takes this long between shows in our home city and just around Australia now, but like that's also the kind of where things are for us. Like you can't just play multiple times a year like you used to, especially when you're doing like the size rooms in the show that we're doing too. Like
but to spread it out a little bit. Exactly. It is a weird position to be in when people trying to explaining to some of my or friends or family or whoever, or people who aren't so familiar with the industry. It's like the weird thing is like the more the band starts to grow, it's like the number of shows we're playing actually kind of goes down a little bit, and we the first year of, not that I'm not saying that as time goes on we're going to play less and less and less shows, but the balance changes a little bit. In our first, I think probably the most shows we've ever done in a year was probably in like the cycle of our first album. We were just going everywhere we possibly could, but now the band's grown to a point where we need to make sure that we're creating draw in those cities and actually like spreading them out and giving people reason, because the more people know about you, the more you have to think about that. So
it was when you first start out, it's about getting your name out there, and then it very much turns to you still want to get your name out there, but it's like you're creating that once also for the base that you've built up. Like
even once we got out of even like the local stage and we got to touring, once we started touring for about like the first 3 or so years of just being an Aussie touring band, we were doing like consistently doing like 4 Australian capital city tours a year. And it's like, and now we do an Australian capital tour every 1.5 years, which is really cool though.
We haven't even done like a big support around Australia.
No, it's been a minute.
When's the last one that we did actually? Like,
I don't remember the last time we supported.
Was it the In Art's Wake, the ARC tour?
Yeah.
Because like ever since we've released our albums, it's just been our album and regional tours. That's it.
Festivals.
And festivals. Which adds to that too, because like if say for example we did like our album tour last like 2023, if there was a big support or something we would have done, that would have been another tour. But this is the first thing that's kind of happened since then. Like,
this is such a cool thing to come back to as well. Like after last year we did a bunch of really cool overseas tours, and we got to finish off last year with what was probably the biggest crowd we've ever played to, which was in Mexico with Bring Me the Horizon, which was like a dream show. And then to go from that and then start this year with the biggest Aussie crowds we've ever played to, which is pretty on par with what the Bring Me crowd in Mexico. It's just amazing. We feel really lucky right now. And then the next thing we do is the European Festival Summer, which is also going to be
Groundhog Day, like this every single day. Like.
That's like a month.
But I think probably like on a even larger scale. Like,
some of them are. Grass Pop and stuff.
Yes.
Grass Pop, Download, Rock Am Ring, Rockin' Park, like.
They're on another scale. Like Download is so big that you kind of like you can barely even walk around the site. Like it's like we had to, if we wanted to go see a band at another stage, we had to get in the buggy. Like not because we're old men, but just because we were like, well, otherwise we might not get back to our stage in time. They're so far. You get lost. Like the last thing I want to do is be lost in the middle of 100,000 people, and I have to play like in 5 minutes. So those ones are overwhelming as well. Not to mention like you see such an interesting array of artists over there as well that you wouldn't even get on Aussie festivals. There's like
well, actually, we have covered a lot of ground with that first question. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I thought that was just the boring old one. So, woohoo! But it actually does lead me to your experiences at Knotfest this year, some of the footage and the iconography that's coming out, like you on bended knee, shots from behind your drum kit, looking at it, seas of people. Whilst there's been obviously many triumphs of this graduation to bona fide headliners playing the world's biggest stages for enormous crowds with matching stage productions. I imagine things like pyrotechnics present a little bit of a challenge also. How?
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's a lot more planning and everything that goes into putting on a show like this. Like, it's not just as easy as getting up and turning on your amps and making sure everything works and then, okay, let's press play and go. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. There's a whole team of people that is like, Polaris has become a lot more than just the five of us on stage. There's a lot more behind, all our crew that adds to that and is a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, the pyro stuff is it's not as simple as just going, we'll add some pyro. Like, you have to think about where they're going to be on the stage, and you have to think about how you want to use them from song to song. And we'll be saying, oh no, I think the breakdown should go like this, and then someone else is like, no, I think the breakdown should go like this from the outside. And there's so many ways of doing it. And then every time we see another artist do some cool pyro, we go like, oh, that was a cool trick. I wonder, like, something like that would be cool. Like, but yeah, you have to think about the rhythm of them. You have to have them programmed. Like, even in the rehearsals, we're looking at the simulation, the pyro sim on the computer and stuff, and going, oh, that section's not crazy enough. We need to do more here, or we need to do less here so we can have more impact there. And it means there's a lot more stuff to talk about. I think we're getting better at, in the past, I think this stuff would have been more of a nightmare. We'd be arguing about it for weeks. I think now we're
not to use your own song title.
Yeah, I think now we'd be a little bit. Now we're a little bit more. We're better at kind of figuring out what everyone wants to do, and there's other voices to come in and stuff. And as Jamie said, it's not just the five of us putting on a show. It's like it's us and a team, and there's something really reassuring when you're doing a show like this, especially where you're not getting your regular sound check. You don't get to run songs before the show. You don't get to do any of that. I think knowing that, festivals always come with risks, right? And getting up there and knowing, okay, it's not just us five. It's not just the five people they can see on the stage. There's another 5 to 10 people around us to make sure
if something goes wrong, it's someone's job to remedy that. It's not just up to us. Like the other day, Jake's pack wasn't working before we went into our last song, and normally we'd be like, Jake's scurrying around trying to figure out what's wrong. We got a guitar tech coming out. He's there straight away. Like, there's reason why we have that at shows like this. The
thing is, we were so DIY for such a long time that it's you have to remind yourself that, okay, this isn't for me to I don't need to jump off the drum kit and go fix this. There's someone else to do that. Like, our natural inclination is like, oh fuck, right, we're gonna do something about it now. But then it's realizing, okay, no, that's what we have a team for. So it's really nice, man. We're really lucky to have the shout out to our crew, by the way.
Love you guys. You work very hard.
Always love the crew.
Our crew's we've got a terrific crew on this run, and they're a big part of why the show looks the way it does and runs the way it does. We can do it without them. So
Well, actually, that's really cool to hear that there is more triumph than tragedy. I guess,
at this point, that's the ratio we need.
Yes, exactly.
Much more triumph and less
Let's stay on the good.
Yes, absolutely. And the fact that you have found that experience, and the greatest challenge that you do have is somewhat recognizing that you don't have to be the people to fix it. People want to be here and are here for you now. And yes, sharing a stage and knowing that that's not purely set up for yourselves, and all of those moving parts, and knowing if something does go awry, what does that mean for set times, especially when it's back to back. They're challenges. But it sounds like you're reaping so much more enjoyment and success out of it, which is all we can ever hope for. And that is testament to the credence that Polaris have worked extremely hard to have built over 12 years?
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, 12.
Okay.
Crazy.
And you have absolutely the reputation around the world, not just in Australia anymore, but as we've all said, every corner of the globe recognises you for that work ethic as being second to none, and no one is more dedicated. However, thank you.
Appreciate that.
It's true. I don't just bullshit, but it's very, very true. So with that in mind, and knowing that you are having such unbelievable experiences coming at you left, right, and centre with more in the pipeline. How do you, as a band, Polaris, embrace your success and your ever busier schedules whilst acknowledging that it can have an effect on your energies?
It's a big question.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
That's good. It's good.
Okay.
I don't really know how to answer that. Like,
I mean, I think now we're really lucky to be in the position that we don't feel like we need to overextend ourselves all the time. Like,
awesome.
I'm worried. Have I already kind of said this? But I'm thinking of an earlier interview from today.
Okay.
My mind's a bit muddled up. But I think now as time's gone on, fortunately we don't have to take everything that comes our way anymore. We can be selective about the things that we want to do, and we really want to, after being through all the things that we've been through and stuff, I think, we had some conversations in the last couple of years. We were like, the last thing I ever want to do is for us to be somewhere doing something and feel someone being like, man, this sucks, I don't want to be here, we never should have agreed to this. It's we want to make sure that we have the freedom now to make good choices for the band, and we don't ever want to be on the road or on stage wishing we were somewhere else. It is a privilege to be there. It is a gift. It's the greatest job in the whole world. It's the coolest job we could ever imagine. If you get to the point where you're resenting it, because you've got to take a step back. So I think it's and that's not to say that we've ever really resented it, but it's worn on us.
There's some times when we've just been burnt out and busy, and our minds have been elsewhere. Especially when we've been in between writing a record or recording a record. Was one when we were recording. Was it the Death of Me, or was it the Mortal Coil, wasn't it?
They were kind of
we recorded half the album, went overseas and did a bunch of summer festivals, and then we came back and finished the record. And we were overseas, on festival days, trying to finish off the album. And, the attention was just not. It was so so disjointed, and
always being pulled in multiple directions.
Yeah.
I think now we're getting okay with being okay, we don't have to come home from every tour and immediately lock ourselves at Rick's house for 4 days a week until we go away again, because that was the problem. We didn't have any space. We were spending every day at home working because we felt like that was the only way to get the record to the standard that we required. And now we've kind of gone through a bit of a shift where we've realized, okay, no, the healthy thing for us to do is do it in blocks. Come home from tour, take a little bit of a break for a little while, then go away for a week and write. And then come back and take a little bit of a break from that. And we're always tinkering away and writing a little bit, but writing records our full-time job year round was just ridiculous, and we thought that was necessary. And now we've realized if we compress work into chunks of hard focus, and then take a little time, and then a bigger chunk of hard focus again. And it saves our mental health. It means oh cool, I'm going away with the boys to write for a week. That's exciting, instead of oh god, I have to go and do the same thing again today that I've done every day for the past few weeks, and it's for every day starts to feel the same. So I think we're just learning to prioritize our health and our happiness a little bit more now.
It's important. It's very important.
Without
sacrificing ourselves.
It's the most important thing in the world, actually. And so I'm just going to put my phone away, because the last question was where to from here to take a break before heading out overseas again to Europe. So, and my gosh, have you earned it? And it's that was an amazing piece of advice to end upon, because I think that I was probably self-serving in asking the question, because I don't know how to say no at the moment, but it's a really timely reminder. So thank you so much for sharing so much of yourself with me today, the world, and Knotfest, and everyone else around the globe. You're an amazing force of nature, and I just love Polaris so much.
Thank you very much.